want to start like that. I don't want to start like that. Let's start properly. I This is another episode for Indulge Me. And I know I haven't been very consistent or say, let me say serious out here with you guys. I I can't even say have you missed me because there really isn't anything to mix. I haven't been consistent. Like I just did 2 episodes, which was short last year, and since then I disappeared. And I want to say it's because I'm lazy, or at the same time I want to say no, it's because I have a lot going on. But I think it's a mix of both, right? If I had dedicated myself to it, would I have been able to churn out more episodes and share some of the interesting things that I've found or that I've seen? Yes, I would have. And would I say I haven't been busy? I have been busy. I mean, I moved halfway across the world. I moved to a new place. I I I experienced a very big loss. I It felt like at some point I started all over again. So there's been a lot going on my hand. But at the same time, I don't think it was enough for me to say, oh, that was why I haven't been able to post. I just haven't been consistent. And that's something I'm trying to change in this new, right now, this new season of my life. I'm trying to change it. I like to believe that I'm in a new season and I want to carry you all along in the best way possible. I, I Anyway, I think we should just get into it because if get into why I've not been here or why I've been here or why I disappeared, it's going to be a lot and it's just going to take our time, and I don't want to do that. I want you all to come here and listen to every episode of Indulge Me and hear the things I find interesting or hear the things that I see, my point of view of the world and my point of view of some of the things that you see, and mention some of the things that you see or some of the things that you don't see. Talk about different things. This episode is supposed to be where I can be myself. And so this is not me being a brand strategist, or this is not me being an entrepreneur. This is not me being a co-founder or a founder. This is not me being anything like that. This is just me showing the raw Ibukun IVK, just the raw me, the way I am on an everyday basis. I get a lot of, oh, IBK, you are weird, and most of the times I'm like, okay. So to most people, the way I am, it's they would call it weird, but to me, I think it's just me being unapologetically me, I guess. So this is one way for me to tell you that this is your chance to be unapologetic you. Just be you. Don't care. Okay. Not that you don't pay, not that you don't respect other people's space. Don't try to use, oh, and me to be a rude person or to be an immature person or to be to be an uncanny person. Okay. Don't do that. Don't do that. That's not something I encourage or I appreciate. So yeah, so like I said, welcome back. And if this is your first time, please don't forget to subscribe. I will be sharing more episodes on a weekly basis now. So we're going to have 4 episodes every week, every month. So I'm hoping that I can keep up with it, God. And I'm hoping that you guys will hold me to it, right? Please. I want more people to come here and discuss some of this. I want it to become a thing where later on we come together and just discuss these things, right? But right now it's just going to be me ranting. Not ranting, sharing my thoughts, but like still ranting in some form. So yeah, we are. Okay, I'm so excited. So it took a while for me to get on the topic I have for today. It took a while for me to decide on it because I had a lot of things I wanted to talk about. So I was like, oh no, maybe I should talk about this, or maybe I should talk about that. And then I'm like, girl, just talk about one thing and move on. And then you can talk about another thing next week. It's so I know, and I think that's the thing, especially with creative people or people like myself who are very, we have a lot going on in our head at the same time, and because of that, we find it very hard to pick one thing or to sit with one thing. You want to talk about everything or you want to share everything, and in my that it just it's in the end, it doesn't really show how good or how smart you are, or how brilliant you are as a person. It makes people feel like you don't have clarity, which in the end is their problem. But I cannot help it when I have 1,001 thing going on in my head at the same time. It's not my fault. Okay. But to pick this topic, it was something I felt like I needed. This first episode, or this next couple of episodes, needs to be fun. It needs to be about me. It needs to be things that I like. Like I said, it can't be about uh the typical founder led branding strategist me. It can't be about any of that. It needs to be about IBK. So yeah, that's what we are doing. This is about IBK. Okay. So the first topic we have is called the Romantasy Boom. And I think for some of you, you are thinking, what do you mean? So think dragon, doom lovers, fays, magic, witches. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Think about that. Those things I've made my reading lists out of. Like, it's literally out of control. So I am, if you check my Goodread right now, the last 40 book I reviewed, or I added to my read list at Romantasy. Like, literally, I think I've not reviewed any self help book, or what's it called, or business related book, or entrepreneurship book on Goodreads in a while. It's not like I haven't read them. I have read them, but it's not like I read it fully and then I'm now going back to the, what's it called, to Goodreads to review, or to give it 5 star or 3 star or 2 star, any of those things. No, but you see, this Romantasy books are things I've been doing a lot of that on. And for me, it feels like if I cannot come here and talk about it, then no, no, it's sad. It will be sad, right? So this is me coming back here to talk about this thing that I'm in love with, right? And just so we're clear, I'm going to get to it, but it's not like I just fell in love with it today. It just feels like the best thing for me to come on here and talk about it for you all, and then see if I can bring in new fans into the world of fantasy. Not just new fans, show you why this can make your life more fun, make your life, God, make your life more interesting, make you see things in more than just the usual way of saying things, right? Because I think those are like one of the things that these books do, right? And so firstly, let's look at what is romantasy. So romantasy is simply marriage. Simply think romance and fantasy. So it's like the marriage of romance and fantasy. That's what makes romantasy. I mean, fantasy, romance, and then people just bring it together. Romantasy. I think it's very cool, right? So when you think about it, it's more about magical worlds, dragon riders, fairy courts, cursed kingdoms, enemies to lovers. But like in all those things, there is now a central romantic act to it, right? So think about all those fantasy world, but then a romantic act surrounds that. Is like there's a core romance around it. Some of them have more fantasy than romance. Some of them are more focused, have a lot more romance than fantasy. So, but for me, I think I it's an adventure, right? For the ones that have more fantasy than romance in it, they are great. For the ones that have more romance than fantasy, they are also great, right? It's They take you on an adventure. You read them and you there are so many. It feels like there's like 100 story in one, in an entire series. Like there is a lot of things, like short snippet of different things to pick from, and then you see the way they all come together at the end or at some point in the book, and you're like, oh my god, this happened because that happened in the beginning, and then like it keeps you actively thinking that, oh my god, what's the next thing? What's gonna happen next? Oh, this is gonna happen. Like it's very, the way people say, oh, that fantasy or all these fiction books are like, you already know what will happen in the end. It doesn't really work that way with these books. Like the journey is more important than what happens in the end sometimes, because you feel like you are part of the journey. And I think another thing is this disclaimer. this particular series, this particular episode is for people who are readers, or if someone who is trying to venture into reading. If you're not a reader, it might be hard for you to get it. See the way I'm excited about it, the way I'm happy and laughing. That is how a reader feels when we read. It's like you are a part of a world that is outside your typical world, even though it's not real. It gives you an escape, and I think that's what romantasy is about, right? Most of these books have like romance at its heart, and then fantasy at the backdrop, and that's what they are about. And for me, they just they paint the world in colors that are better. Does that make sense? Yeah, it paints the world in better colors. Like, just see new things, experience new things with these books. Like you have like there are different types of they have it in different tropes. That's what for it. In different tropes. So you have like fated mates. Imagine you're fated to just be with one person, and that one person alone is for you, and that person you are for that person, and those type of things. Like, oh my god, you meet just that your one person that won't care about any other person, or won't see any other person except you, and then you seeing that one person as your own person, and the person that you can trust with everything. So that's what like fated mates are, like people that were fated for each other. And I know there's an underlying issue here. It's like you are thinking about it and thinking about, oh, maybe there's somebody out there for you that is fated for you like that. No, that's the mistake most people make. Fantasy is not real. It doesn't come to life in real life. And personally, I don't think I want fantasy to be real. I want my fantasy to be in the fantasy realm so that I can make up different. It's like, do you know? Have you ever heard of the idea of meeting somebody that you what's it called, meeting somebody that you rate? I call it rate, right? Or somebody that you are a big fan of, like maybe a celebrity or someone like that, right? I'm of the opinion that you should never meet your celebrity crush, especially when it's your celebrity crush, right? Mm-mm, 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 no. I think other people have other opinion about this. But I personally think that you are not supposed to meet your celebrity crush. It's not something that should happen. So I think the reason why they are your celebrity crush is because they are unattainable. They should be there. They should be unattainable. You shouldn't meet them in real life. Because the minute you meet them in real life, then you see that they are human like yourself, and they have flaws, and they no, I don't want to meet you in real life. I want to keep putting you on that pedestal so that you're always going to be there. I don't want to meet you in real life. And yes, and that thing. People think of this and say, oh, then what's the sense of having them? Like you want to meet them and like hang with them? Like, no, I don't want to hang. So let me give you an example. I have had a crush on Limio. No, I know what you want to say. Okay, so there's millions and a lot of other girls like that. Yes, I was a big fan of him when I was 13 years old, and that was like 15 years ago, and I still have a big crush on him till now. Like big, big crush. And the funny thing about that is that my family members know about this. A lot of people know about this. Like when they see him in a new series or in a movie or in a like I get pictures, I get people sending me videos of him or sending me pictures of him without unprovoked. It's like, oh, IBK, I saw your boyfriend. Or IBK, I saw you. Like they literally call him that. And I'm glad. I love it. I love him like that. But you know the funny thing about it is that, do I want to meet him in person? Hell no. And this has nothing to do with being insecure about myself or anything, because that's what some other people would think. Like, oh yeah, it's because you're insecure, you know that it's not going to go for you. No, I don't want him to even go for me. No, no, no. Let him be with whoever he wants to be with. Let him have a happy family. Let him. You get the limio that I have in my head is, I'm pretty sure it's different from the limio or the actual, what's it called? The real limio. The characters are different. The limo I have in my head has no flaws, right? The limo I have in my head is always going to be hot, right? I mean, Limio now is not like the Limio then. It's now getting older. It's obvious, right? It's showing in some places. Do you get? But the living I have in my head is never going to get old. He's always going to be that young, sexy, hot guy that is, you get, that is just, oh my god. I kind of like someone that is Asian. But like, he's that person. Anyway, that's by the way. That was by the way. So let's get back to this. So yeah, one of the fun thing about this is I like the tropes. So like we have the enemies to lovers, like where they are like about when they meet each other, they're about to kill each other, they are enemies. She's here for revenge, or he's here for revenge, or she's what's it called? She's trying to she's here to kill his family, or his family did this to her family, those type of things. Like, and then somehow it got sorted out and they fell in love, and then they find a way to sort it out, and then yeah, that those type of enemies to lover. Oh my god. Those are those are really good books, right? Really good books, right? And another one would be maybe First Proximity, or Dragon Riders, right? Or people who are like in the Dragon Riding Academy, those type of things, right? Oh my god. They're so cool. But like I think the it's it's interesting as much as it's more for most people would think, oh yeah, you're just trying to escape reality, but it isn't really about that. There's so many plots, there's so many things to learn in those books, right? You learn resilience, you learn how hard work, like even as much as it's fantasy, you learn how if you don't put in the work, nothing changes, right? You learn how people become selfless. You learn, like, there's a lot of things to learn in those books. You just have to pay attention to it. And so you realize that there is more to it than just magics and romance. And I mean, some of the romance are really, really good, but that we're not here for that. So, and another thing is, I think there is like a short history of what I know. Most people think that this romantasy thing is new, but it isn't new at all. At all. I mean, these are things that were here in the 2010s. Like Lord of the Rings, what's it called, with Aragorn and Arwen, yeah, and say what's this one, The Princess Bride, like a couple of books that if you were a reader growing up, you probably read some of those books, right? No, I'm not talking about, so they were, I think the things that were a lot more popular then were the Queen romance, right? Yeah, I know, I read those. But yeah, the things that were more popular then were like Harlequin romance, but those were not the main thing. Like we had there, this romantasy thing has been here for a very very long time, but it just the term for it came up when these new people started when people started hearing more about it. I started when some of these writers started releasing books that were great, that were like that had like they decide to create a marketing term for it when they're not calling it a romantasy because it's a marketing term. And and what are they calling it? These Some of these writers like Sarah James, who is by the way my best writer of romantasy. Like when you say the best writer of romantasy is Sarah James, I don't want to hear anything else. A lot of people have their opinion. No, Mike, drop the mic. I literally just dropped the mic. Drop the mic. Romantasy and Sarah James are like this. She is like the best. Like there are some other people that really write great romantasy too, right? But I think she's the best. That's my personal opinion. For other people, they might have their own what they think. But for me, I think it's Sarah James. And I think we have I don't know how to pronounce her name. It's Jennifer Ametut. It's L Ametut or something. I can't remember, but like that's the way her name is. And then what another thing that gave it so much that made people think that it just came now is because of these online communities that are now very so because like a lot of people were online then, but it wasn't something that people were pushing. Like people don't pay attention to social media enough, but now the social media is everywhere. Like it became a thing, and then we have online communities pushing these things, people coming together, creating groups because of this book. Like they are like fans, they are like, and then they are now. Let's talk about the what's it called, especially book talk. Oh my god. So like the way people are tagging this content, and then creators are creating content based on these books, right? And sharing their opinions and screaming about it, and you're like, oh my god, I need to read this. Oh my god, I need to read this. Like so, those things are one of those things that made the entire series become what it is right now, right? And yeah, so like those are the things that makes it more recognizable, and it becomes a journey that a lot of people are interested in. And another thing would be, so I think, w- okay, so I think let me break it down. I think there are like, say, four things altogether that makes the entire series what it is now, or the entire genre what it is now. Number one is book talk, like the book talk and Instagram, like the way it was, the way people, especially because of the covers, like most of these books have like mad ass covers, right? The aesthetic of the covers are just on point, and that's why it's easy for people to push it around on social media. Like, it's pretty. If you have the hardcover of most of these books, they are pretty. I have some hardcovers that I want to pay for, that I want to buy. It's part of the things I want to put money into, but I just have a lot of other things I'm doing. But I want to pay for them. I don't just want to buy anyhow. So the, another thing is this: I'm a ebook reader more than a hardcover reader. I I prefer ebooks, and that's the truth. I think they are easier to read, and I think they are, because I don't have to carry books around. I can just carry the ebook. But I also understand the appeal of actual art book covers. The smell of the book, the feel of it. It's more. It's it brings you in more than what an ebook does, right? But for me, I think because of the way I am, I just prefer ebooks, right? So, like I said, one of the reasons why it's trendy right now is because of the covers. They're like really pretty. The arts that people are creating for them on Book Talk and on Instagram, those are like the things that are making it very, very, very. Those are the things that gave it like the entire trend that it has right now. And so, like I said, book talk, which is TikTok, right? But like, there's a part of TikTok that they're calling book talk. It's not like it's another app entirely. It's just a part of TikTok that a lot. If you search book talk on your TikTok, you see like, you don't want to know. It's like a hole you probably don't want to get into, right? Another thing is that it's it's an escape. It's is it escapism? That's the word for it. It's where people go to escape the stressful times. There's a lot of things going on out there, right? There's a lot of stress out in the world. Like, there's so many sad stories, so many. Reality is not something a lot of people want to be a part of, right? Or want to actively think about, because if you think about it, you go crazy. Like, reality might not be something you want to put so much attention into, like that. And because of that, it's as weird as it will sound, it's understandable that people just want to get remove it out of their daily like, people want to try and run away from it, but not run away from it. If it's just to escape it, even if it's just for one day, even just for a few hours, by immersing themselves into a book that is about maybe somebody fighting for a better world, do you get? Or maybe somebody fighting for um young people, or fighting a, like, doing something that is making it better, but then they have magical powers to make it happen, do you get? They can fight the enemy because they are strong. They can, like, there are so many reasons, but I think it's another thing is because it's one of the best ways for people to escape, right? So I think that's one reason why um it's trending right now. And another thing right now is because of it's collectible. And I think people don't understand this when I say this. I said it to someone once, but they didn't understand it. You you know the way people collect acts back in the days. One of my When people ask me why do I want to make money, because I want to collect books. Like, my biggest goal is to have one of the biggest library in the world, and not for others, just for myself. Like, that is like one of the biggest goals I have in my life. Like, I want, like, when I have the type of money that I'm looking for, I just want to have books. Like, books. That's what I want. That's all I want. Like, you know, there are some people doing it right now. They have like really, really good books, like pretty books, pretty books. So I think one reason why it's like that again is the way it's collectible. It's like the way people collect art, people are collecting books, hardcover books. Oh my god. And they are so pretty. And you see the edges, that are sprayed edges that's telling a story of what is happening in the book. Oh my god. It's so cool. It's so cool. I sometimes I'm like, okay, if this is something I can have, it's just so good. And I think another thing about them is the streaming adaptations. You see some of these books now, they are being made into series, movies. Imagine the book that you read and then you can watch it. That's one of the reasons why I loved Game of Thrones. Right? I read the entire books, even though yeah, decided not to release the last one. But it's okay. I read the entire books and then I watched the series. So I could tell the difference. It's so good when you can say, oh my god, this didn't happen in the book. Why did you bring this in? Like it's oh my god. I'm also of the opinion that the book was better than the actual series. Yes, it was. But maybe because I'm a reader, I think it was better, by the way. So another thing would be, yeah, so I think those are like the four things: the way they are collectible, the streaming adaptation, the aesthetic part of things. That's why the TikTok and Instagram part of it works, and escapism, the idea of it being somewhere where you can relieve yourself, right? Where you can go outside of yourself, where you don't have to see the world, where you see another world that is thriving, that works, right? Especially if you are coming from a country that the system doesn't work, or a place that you can see the way the system is bad, and you're reading a book where the system works. Okay, yeah. So that's those are like the main thing why I think that it's trending now. So let's go to my personal history, right? So, how did I come across romantasy books? People would think, oh yeah, a lot of people started reading romantasy books like 2 years ago when book talk started the entire time. I was one of those people that was reading like 5 years ago, 4 5 years ago, yeah. And the funny thing about it was that I came across, it was more like by should I say, I want to say it was by accident because it's not like anybody referred me to it, right? So I'm one of those people that I was I always like romance, right? Like even growing up, I'm always a big fan of romance, and I'm a big reader. Like I read a lot, like a lot. Sometimes it feels like it's too much. Like I'm an obsessive reader, and one of those things was I was one of those, Silver Day. She's a writer of, I think, is it a crossover series or something? I can't remember. But those are books I was reading like years back, like 2010, 2013, or yeah, 2013, 2014, 15. Those were then. And I think sometimes 5 years ago, I came across, it's either 4 or 5 years ago, I can't remember. But the first romantasy book that actually brought me in was the Throne of Glass series. Yes, the Throne of Glass series. So the funny thing about that book was the first day I picked it up, I spent 7 days doing really. I can't say I did anything aside from reading that book. Like I picked up the first book and I started and I couldn't stop. Like I wasn't sleeping. I had to call in. I call in at work sick. I call in at work. I said I was sick and I took 7 days sick leave. That was it. I took 7 days sick leave and I read the entire series. Like I read it at a go. It's like, when you are reading a book, I do not you don't do anything else aside read that book. That was what I did. I literally read. I wait, hold on. I need to find out the year I read it. Right? I need to find out. It was such a crazy one because every time people ask me about the series and like, or like how I read it or how I came across it, it used to be very interesting to me because it was like the series came out in 2012 or so. I read it I started reading it around 2018. Is it no? I think 2018. I can't remember. Is it 2018? No. I think I started reading around 2020, 2020, 2021. I can't remember, Sha. But the dates, no, it doesn't matter. What matters is that like I read the book and I couldn't stop. I took days off work. Like I took a sick, I called in sick, and then I took a sick leave so that I could finish the entire series because I couldn't do anything else. My mind was just running rampant, and I couldn't stop, and I just focused on it. And another thing that would, the reason why it does, it's funny and it's also not funny because people will say, why would you do that to yourself? But I couldn't help it. And there's so many, I think there's so many stories in that one book. Like there's so many subplots, plots. Like there's so many things in that one book that made it impossible for me to leave. Right. So till now, I've read. I can't count how many. I can't count how many um Romantasy series I've read since then. But till now, I still think Throne of Glass series are the best. I think it's the best Romantasy series out there, and a lot of people have so many things to say about that. But for me, it's like it's slow burn romance, but then with now the magic aspect of things, and then you see how the main character grows from being Selena Sadotian to being Aileen Galatinius, how she became the queen that was the queen that was promised, and how she was learning from her experience, like all those things. Like she became how she was hardworking. It's like even in a book like that, you would think that she's so powerful. She doesn't need to. No, she was so hardworking. She was so resilient. She was so selfless. She was like you want to. She's a character that you learn from because, and there's so many other characters like that in the book that was so interesting. And I think because of that, for me, was like, what do you mean? Like, what do you mean? It's like the best. But like there are other books too that are very great, right? I mean, the Empyrean series, which is like the Fourth Wing, Onis. I can't remember the name of the other one, but like the Empyrean series, that was really good too. That has been like I hate the fact that it's not fully out yet. So if you, I wouldn't advise you to read it. That's the don't read it yet. Wait for the entire series to come out before you read it. I think we are on number three right now. We are still waiting for another one. I don't read it when it's not fully out, right? So, but overall for me is I read this book with because the emise of what will happen next. It's not you cannot it's not predictable. Like some parts are predictable, right? Because it's like, oh yeah, this will happen. She will now do this. No, but like the process of getting to it, the world building, it's almost unpredictable. And when they all come together, you're like, wow. So for me, like I personally read they are also like it's an escapism for me too, but at the same time it's you learn so much. You learn. You read these things and you're like, oh my god, this is one thing, this is one thing. For some people they are like different things that they are reading this for, right? But for me it's like that. Like I read because they make me happy. They genuinely make me happy. I rather and most of the time I rather read than spend time with people on a normal day, right? So these books just make it gives me a better reason to just say, oh yeah, why bother? But don't do that. Don't do that. It's bad. You need to spend time with people. Your network is your everything, right? So you have to put effort into your network, right? So you can create time for everything. And another thing would be, oh my god, I think this. How many minutes are we on? I can't remember. But this is getting longer than I expected. Let's talk about the what's it called? Uh, rating the books, right? So what are like the five books I would recommend? There are a lot of books. Right? There are a lot of books. I'm going to open my Goodread, right? To like show you all some of the these things of this thing, right? So you're like some of the books I've read, but like I might not be able to do that. But maybe I'm going to show you the the ones I have rated top. Let me just do top five because if we go into the ones that I'm rating, it's going to be crazy. So I'll start from number five. I think on number five we have From Blood and Ash. Yeah, it's a series. It's a fun, fast paced, but like a very trope heavy series. That's number five. That's my number five. For from like yeah, From Blood and Ash. It's by Jennifer L. Armentrout. It's quite a great one. It was a good book. was a really, really good book. And another one would be it's hard. What would be on my number four? It's actually hard. But I think the Skoloma series would be my number four. The Skoloma series is just, I think, TV, and it's fully, you can go and read that. You can go and read that. It's quite, it's not as heavy on magic as some of the other ones, but it is. But it's not about, it's about young students, which, to think about it, I'm not the type of person that likes reading about young people. But the Skoloma series was different. It was such a good one. It was really good. It was really good. Um so another one would be, I think number three for me would now be, I'll be on number three. There's too many options. That's the issue. There's too many options. Okay. So I think number three would be the Akota series. Yeah. The Court of Thorn and Roses. The Akota series by Sarah J. Max would be number three. I mean, it's, although I would say that I could put it on number two too, right? But let's just put it on number three. But it's one of those books, well, like one of those series that, oh my god. And the funny thing about that series is that I've read the entire series. I think they have like four or five, I think five books altogether, and there's still one more. But it's not like it's not complete; it's complete. But like they are, but about the other characters, like she has been doing more. She has been writing more about the other characters, right? And but I've read the entire series back to back like 3 times already. So the way I read my books are like, I read first, like I read to just know what's going to happen next, what's going to happen next, what's going to happen next. Like I'm in a hurry to get to that, and then as soon as I'm done with reading it, sometimes later I'll come back again to read again. Now I'm not fast paced. I'm slowly reading it, right? Maybe finding out things I missed when I was reading this fast in the first after the first time I read it, right? So those are like, that's like one way I read, and I read it again. So i- if I read your book more than one, 2 times, 3 times, it means the book is great. If I read a book and it's just I read it once and I moved on, it's not like the book is not nice. Do you get? It's just, it's not, it doesn't make me want to read it again. But if I read a book like one, two, 3 times, then it means that the book is like, so all these books I'm recommending, like these top five books I'm recommending, they're like that. They're like books that I've read like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times. I'm not joking, like more times. And I'm not saying I read only one. No, like maybe the entire series has like four series in it, and I've read all four of them 3 times, or I read all four of them 6 times. That's the way I read, right? So please don't ask me how I have time for all those things. This is what I do to this is what I do to cool off. That gives me joy, right? Some people do other things, right? This is what I do to cool off, right? I care more about it. So let's look at number two. Number two, we have the Fourth Wing series. Yeah, the Empyrean series, right? Fourth Wing is the first book in the entire series. I think the first book in the entire series was better. The second book wasn't so good, but the third book wasn't bad. That's the Honest Flames or something. Yeah, Honest Flame. Yeah, or I don't know how to pronounce it, but it's the Empyrean series by, what's her name? Rebecca Yarros. Yeah, it's such a great one. Right, and then lastly, the first one. What else? Throne of Glass series. Of course, I was going to be Throne of Glass series. What else? So yeah, this week, I mean, that's what I'm recommending right now. And maybe every week while I do this, like every week, no matter what I talk about, I'll come and recommend a book. So if you're interested in book recommendation, just keep watching the podcast from now on. I would keep recommending books, and majorly romantasy books. Although I might switch up sometimes, but like majorly it's going to be all romantasy books, right? So, and some of the ones that I've read and read and read again. And yes, if you're thinking, how many times have I read Throne of Glass? I've read it 7 times. And this books has, I think, six books. Yeah, I think six, if I remember correctly. It's like the entire book in the series is six. Yes, no, sorry, seven. 7 books. Yeah, and I've read all the 7 books 7 times. Yes, I read it. So I mean, it's been a long time since I've been reading it now. I read it like 5 years ago. So what do you expect? So it feels like I renew it every year, like twice a year. I renew it almost twice a year. It's not a lot. Now it feels like I know so many things that happen in the book that just it's crazy. But yeah. So those are like the book recommendation, right? And another thing would be if you are so here's something I wanted to talk about again about people who read ebooks and hard copy. Sorry. So when it comes to ebook reader, I think we have more. It's cheaper to read ebooks. Number one, right? Not because I mean I just recently started paying for some books, not because I cannot get it for free, right? There's so many ways to get books for free online. Don't do it; it's bad. You have to support you have to support the writers. I think I recently started paying for books a while back because I mean it just feels like I needed to pay these people. Like they're doing such a great job, so it's not a lot to support them. But I understand that sometimes you cannot afford to pay these things. So there are so many what's it called? There are so many sites or there's so many places where you can get these books for free sometimes. But when you have money, please make sure that you buy the books that you've read that you got for free. It's courtesy. You need to do it. It's you need to support the writers. It takes a lot to do all this word building and put all these things together. It takes a lot. But yeah, I think one reason why I do ebook is because of the it's cheaper than hard copy. The thing with hard copy is I don't just want normal um paper cover. I want the hard cover. Those hard covers. I think the Throne of Glass series that I want to buy. I still want to buy it. I haven't got like I have like two of the what's it called? Two of the paper cover. I think for the Kingdom of Ash and the Assassin. Is it Assassin? I can't remember. I think the first one and the last one. I have the actual um hard copy of it, but I want the what's it called? The hardcover copy. And for the entire series, the one I wanted to buy is those ones with painted edges and all right. And I think it's like $700. I think so. So $700 just to buy it, and they are shipping it for like $150. So I'm going to spend almost $1,000 on it. So because of that, I haven't gotten it yet, but I am going to buy it this year because it's part of the things I want to buy. Sorry, I'm going to buy it this quarter. It's part of the things I want, and I'm just going to buy it. So yeah, but like I said, if you want to go into these books, you might not be ready to invest in actually buying them yet. So you can get them on some sites. Yeah, actually, I can add a couple links of where you can get some of those books. Maybe on the screen. No, that would be unfair. I'll add them below, right, somewhere so you can find them. But yeah, so I but the reason why I like ebooks are because they are convenient. But I also think that hard copy are better. The experience is better with hard copy. Like no shade, like there's no line that the experience is way more better, right? Okay, so I've gone through different things about the Romantasy Boom and why it's trending and the books that I like and why we are doing what we are doing and why you all should just join into it. So I want to hear from you all. Like, what's your favorite Romantasy book? What have you read? What do you think? Are you also a big? Do you also think Throne of Glass is the best romantasy books ever? But like, if you don't think that, if you also think if you have like a book recommendation, please share it. Share it in the comment section. I would love to hear your thoughts, and please subscribe to my channel. And yeah, I would love to hear more on that. Another thing would be yeah. So I have promised myself that on each episode I would share top three articles of the week that I read. So it's not like they just drop the articles, like some of the articles that I've read, and I'll be dropping three of them each week. And yeah, it would be, it might not be an article, but it would be, yeah, not just, it might not be, it would be an article that I read or something that I saw that I thought that you all need to hear, or it would help your life in even in the little way, right? So the first article that I have here is by Naval. Right. You know Naval, right? So if you type Naval's archive on Substack, I read most of my articles these days on Substack. I know. I think the people on Substack are smart people. Yes. I'm also one of those people that believe that. But yeah, so I read the be incomprehensible, right? Because one of the things he mentioned in the articles were how we are living in a very strange time in history, and your best way to be different is for you to be incompressible, right? You cannot be like AI can be a lot of things. AI can do a lot of things. So I think a lot of people should read the article. It would shape your mind into um seeing approaching things in a different way, or seeing things in a different way that you need to actually start looking at in the new world that we are in. And the next article would be is by Danko. You know Danko, like I think is a great one. He's a great writer. He shares a lot of things that are very value driven. Like he's one of those people that shares a lot of value. Like I have a couple of people that I know that share a lot of value driven things, but Danko is one of those top people that like, and he says it that it is. Like you do know there are not a lot of people that do that online. A lot of people that sugarcoat things or like say it because the way they want you to hear it, like it's subtle, you can tell, right? But Danko is one person that says it as it is, right? So it's like the article is how to be the better personal brand than the 99% of people. He's also on Substack. His newsletter name is the Trust Matrix. And if you are someone like coming from somebody that is a brand strategist, this is what I do for a living. That article is gem. Like he has so many things in it. Like he has so many things in it. So I think a lot of people should read it, especially if you're somebody that is looking to build your personal brand. Like, or even if you're not looking to build your personal brand, if you are working 9 to 5, you're an entrepreneur, a founder, a CEO, whatever is it that you're doing, you should read the article. And lastly, I have 7 book recommendation by Naval Ravikant. That it's a it's it's on his what's it called? It's on his Substack too. That's the third one. This is not an article per se. It's just a book recommendation that he gave, and I think the books they are very very strong. The funny thing is that I've only read like 2 or 3 of them, and but I'm looking forward to reading the other ones. But I know that those 2 or 3 of those books are like books that I read, and I was like, wow. So I think that's yeah. It should be. It should be. What's it called? It should be books that a lot of people should read. And another one of the things he mentioned there was that he said books are cheap, buy all and skim them for one that grabs you. And the reason why I wanted let me go deep into this is that a lot of people think that when you buy a book, you should read it from front to the end, like full to cover. So the only thing you need to do that for are fictions. Yeah, fictions you need to read it from front to the end is important. Like every detail is important because it's a story, right? But when it comes to self-help books or like business books or any of those books, that's not the way you read it. I learned this a while back, and I think I should help people with it too. So here is how you read the book, right? You you pick the book, go to the contents page, and look through the content. Look at read through the content and pick one thing, like pick one chapter that resonates with you. Go to that chapter, read it. You can go back to the book again, go back to the content page again. After you read that chapter, go back to the content page again, pick one part that resonates with you and read it. That is how I read. And what most people don't understand is that most books you're not ready for them, or you're not in the stage for some part of the books. When you're trying to read everything, it takes time, and just go to the content page and look at something that resonates with you at that point in time in your life and then read it. Do you get it? That's why most of the book that I buy, the hardcover book that I buy are self-help books. I don't buy fiction self-help. I don't buy those my normal romantasy books. I just prefer ebooks copy for those ones. But the hardcover books that I buy are always self-help books because it's easier. Like they are easier to like they are easier to go back to. They are easier to, like, you can go back to ebooks too, right? But it's just different. Like self-help books are better when you have them in hardcover. But even if you just have the ebook, just go to the content page, pick what we're going to resonate with you at that point in time and read it. Don't try to read it from number one to the end. That's why people don't read. It takes all your time because most times some of those parts are not places that you need yet. You might not your subconscious might not be ready for them yet. Okay, so yeah, I think that's all for today. I am hoping that I don't even know how many minutes this episode is at right now, but I hope it's not so long. I like I said, the next one, wait again. By next week, I will be sharing another one. I would shoot another one, and then we'll have another one. And yeah, 4 times a week. So look forward to it. Don't forget, indulge me is for me to come here, for you to come here, and is where you come to, where you indulge me, where I share the things that I find interesting, fun, or I don't know, anything that I find, anything that I like or I don't like, or I just want to share. So yeah, you're coming here to hear me talk about different things, share my thoughts and all that, right? So if you want to see more of this, please subscribe to my YouTube channel or follow any of my social pages so you can see some of these episodes and the short ones of them. I I will do different things to make this episode, to make this entire podcast an episode that I'm putting out more more value driven, and I'm hoping that you've learned a couple of things from some of the things that I shared, and yeah, on from some of the articles that I mentioned. Yeah, so if you need links or anything about any of these things, just reach out to me. Have a great one, everyone, and bye.